And we have Dr. B and myself, and welcome everyone. Thank you for being here on time, which I was not. It is Thursday, February the 6th, and we'll start with item number 1, discuss recognition of campus teachers for the month of January.
Good afternoon, Ms. Garza, Superintendent of Schools, committee members, and all members that are present. Campus teachers of the month for January 2020 is Alto Bonito, Juan M. Garcia, Gruya Elementary, Araceli Olivares, La Unión Elementary, Cristina Rodriguez, Dr. Mario Ramirez Elementary, Daniel Sainz, J.N.O. Hinojosa Elementary, Adaneli Garcia, Ringo Elementary, Diana Lopez, Ace Elementary, Erica Solis, Alberto and Celia Barrera Elementary, Ayan Garcia, Roque Guerra Elementary, Lori Chapa, General Ricardo Sanchez Elementary, Ana Martinez, Ace 2E Middle School, Delia Garza, Ringo Middle School, Diana Salinas, Veterans Middle School, Jaribel Solis, Gruya Middle School, Maria E. Ortiz, Rio Grande City High School, Ariel Lin, Early College High School, Policarpio Corona, Gruya High School, Abigail Seal, Alternative Center, Imelrito Veloso. Those are our teachers for the month of January.
You know, it's so good to see that we still have teachers that have been here for many, many years, and still they're showing their strength. You know, because a lot of times you're here and you're like, and no, we have teachers that I noticed it in last month's board meeting as well.
Haven't lost their fire.
And that's why they are outstanding, because they're passionate about it. And their peers managing them.
Incredible. Well, that's great. Okay, item number 2, discuss resignation application and memorandum of understanding for prep for early college high school.
The preparatory for early college high school must submit an application for redesignation on a yearly basis to the Texas Education Agency. The application deadline is February the 18th, 2020. The application is ready to submit along with a memorandum of understanding. At this time, we ask for board approval. This has been an ongoing item for a couple of years now.
Okay, thank you. Item number 3, discuss ACT boot camps. ACT.
The 3 high schools are requesting ACT preparation seminars for students who will be taking the ACT during the month of March. The seminars will be conducted at the respective campuses. It is a one-day seminar which will begin at 9 a.m. and end at 4 p.m. Students will receive materials which will help them prepare for the exam. Research does indicate that students who go through this training improve their scores at least 2 points. The approximate cost for this is $89 per student. We are looking at 275 students, a total of $21,000. We are looking at availability of funds through Title IV.
And I know this was presented at the leaders meeting that we had last week, and Dr. Trevino mentioned that this program had been very successful in Roma. So we were a little concerned about the number of students in one room, but nonetheless, it apparently was a very successful program, so we would like to try it. And I think we have nothing to lose, but, you know, to help kids try to get prepared for the ECT program.
So this is our first time.
This is our first time. Yes.
And they guarantee, like, for the kids' score to go up like 2 points, and not they'll provide extra remediation.
But who does the actual?
It's a company.
They come consultants.
And I think that the counselor from Roma told Roxy Garza at the high school, she said it's really, really successful and it works because we've seen the scores go up. So this year the state is providing funding. It's called school day testing. So they're letting all of our kids take the test for free, the ACT. Then depending on the number of kids that take it, we return money, right? Because they already sent us the money. We return the money of the kids that don't take it. So there's no reason for a child not to take the ACT because the state is providing funding for it. this year. Everybody, for everybody, regardless of financial status or anything. So that's a good thing.
Okay. Item 4, discuss RGB LEAD service agreement.
RGC lead agreement will provide quality reports, and this is from pre to 16, council and also counselors network meetings to facilitate sharing between and among public schools, colleges, and universities to support college and career preparation and successful student transitions from the education to the workforce. Annual updated data reports and supports will be provided and facilitated to improve college and career preparation services. RGB lead scholars, they also provide that for our students to acquire the skills necessary for success in post-secondary education. At this time, we're asking for your approval. We are looking at CTE Fund 222 to pay for the 1920 membership. It's approximately $6,290. We've also had this company for a while, for probably over 20 years. We do ask for your approval.
Okay, item 5, other.
Under other, we have Ms. Elsa Morris that will present on the public hearing for the taper report. And this is a requirement by the state that we actually have a public hearing and post our results for social share discussion.
Yeah, you want to know?
That's all good. I'm sure that we have areas of improvement, but I'm
Oh,
sure
yeah.
that,
We're happy.
you know, we're happy to continue. Happy to continue.
I have to like share the good and the bad, basically.
But more good than bad, right?
I think so.
I just go with that. You good? Okay, you're smiling. That's a good way.
Okay, basically what I'll be doing is I'll be doing a PowerPoint on the paper. What I did is I provided copies of the paper report for you, and on the front cover, I put the items that I have to cover in the PowerPoint. I'll have to cover the annual report, which I provided for you. It's 25 pages. I have to provide that. Once I present the paper report, then I have to upload the paper report on the district website, and the school campuses also, if they have a website, they have to put a link to it, and it's not to the state link, like I literally have to like scan it and put it there in PDF version. That's what it's asking me to do. I also have to report on the financial standard report, and I pull that out of PEA for our district on the accreditation status, and then any special education determination status that we may have. And this year, we have the results-driven accountability, which I already shared excerpts of that with you all. And then I must report on what were the outcomes of each one. In our annual report, of course, we know that if you look at the front cover, it tells you right away in the front cover of the paper report. It will tell you, it looks like this. And I also provided a one sheet that tells you the accountability rating for every campus in the district. It gives you the name of the school, the accountability, and then it also gives you the support label that they might have received. As you know, that we do have one comprehensive school, and then we have 4 target support campuses, 3 middle schools, and of course Rio Grande City High School. And Gruya is a comprehensive support school because we got an emphasis campus. So I'm going to share that one sheet that gives you the information for all the campuses. What I do need to let the public know is, of course, that we got an accountability rating of B. And that our special determination status was that we need intervention. So we recently submitted our plan, I think yesterday or the day before I uploaded it. And the plan has to have initiatives, it has to have things that we're going to put in place to make sure that we get out of this performance level. Right now we have a performance level of 3. Of course, the worst you can get is a 4, so we're not there. So if in our plan, what we're trying to do is we're trying to work down to a 1 or 2. We're not saying we're going to move down to no performance level because we know that that requires a lot of work, but we've identified the root cause because when we look at all the scores, we look and we see a pattern in reading and in writing. You know, that's what we're suffering as a district from grades 3 all the way to EOC at the high school. So we're focusing on that being a root cause. In addition to that, we have 2 other programs that they're not required to do an intervention plan, but since we know they're already at a performance level 1, we want to address those, and that was our migrants under ESSA. Well, and again, going back to those kids that took the EOC that were classified as migrants, they did not fare where they should have, because what the state does, they apply to the federal government, they say, okay, federal government, this is our state plan, and these are the benchmarks that we're going to set forward so that we can meet the federal accountability. So the reason that we're having issues with special ed is because we receive Title I funds, we get weighted ADA, so they expect these special populations to perform. When they don't perform at the level that they set for us, they set a performance level for us, if we meet it, we get a 0. 0 is like getting 100. If we don't meet it by a little bit, we get a 1. If we missed it by a little bit more, it's a 2, and then a 3, and a 4, and so on. So I'll explain that, I guess, to the board in layman's terms so that they can understand what the performance levels. It used to be called staging, but now it's called a little nicer. It's called performance levels. But I'll explain the way that the levels work. So that's one of the things that we have to worry about. The good news is that last year in accountability we had a C, so now we're a B. So we're moving forward. And then, like I said, we have one school right now that has an F, but I see great things happening at that campus, and I will celebrate that. I'll share that with the board. A status, we had a diagnostic visit from Region 1, and basically what they're here to do is provide technical assistance. They're here to say, okay, you've been saying you've been doing all these things, you're submitting all these plans. We're here to see if what you're saying actually jives with what you put in your plan. So they were very pleased that what we've been putting in our plan to the state, because we have to submit to the state on a periodic basis, that what we're putting in our progress plan matches what they actually saw when they were here yesterday. And I know Ms. Garza got to sit on the exit interview yesterday with the people that came from Region 1, and you know, they had only good things to say, so I was good. The things that they did point out, they were like, okay, now you're picking on us, but that's fine. We'll address those, we'll get better. And I was like, and when I was looking at Mr. Gonzalez, we can take care of that. It was like our lesson plan. Well, we don't have any control over that. That's given to us by the district. Ms. Basan was there to defend it, and she said it's the 5E model. This is what the district follows. It may not have all the things you're looking for, but we can surely add those. So they were like little things, but they did say a lot of positive things about the climate, that they see the teachers working together, and what we're saying is actually like, they heard it like in different rooms. It's like they talked to the pre-K teacher and the 5th grade teacher, and they were saying the same thing. So sometimes, you know, we know like, okay, they've been coached, but we were asking different people different things. And even in speaking to the students, they saw that, you know, what we're saying is actually happening. So the school culture is changing. And one of the things that I shared with them yesterday is that the Saturday that we have the UIL meet, and it has nothing to do that, but one of the main focuses at that school was the school culture was not where it should be. That I did a text on a Saturday, and I'm like, why is the principal calling me on a Saturday? I was like, oh my God. So I wanted to cry. He's like, can you believe that we got 5th place at the UIL meet? And people were like, who cares, right? 5th place. And then I said, sir, congratulations. I'm so happy. I'm so proud of you. Your teacher, let me text your assistant principal. But they were happy because normally they're like fighting for last place. So he said, we're 5th place. Hey, we're coming for 1st place next year. So, you know, things are changing. The culture's changing. And you see it with the teachers. Everybody's speaking the same language. So, you know, I foresee, like if I had to predict, like where would we be? I hope to be at an A, but I honestly think that we'll be at a B for sure, like a solid B at that campus, because I see a lot of good things happening. And I know that when the scores came out, somebody asked me, like when we did our first benchmark, are those the real scores? And I said, no, they're the fake scores. I said, of course they're the real scores. I said, the teachers are working really hard, but I think the most important thing that's happened at that campus is that the people have owned up to what was happening, and they've said, you know what, we're no more. We don't want that anymore. So, you know, if we can take that model and the things that we've done, and they're just small little things, and if we can do that across the district, then I can think we could improve a lot. You know, like Ms. Garza says, I wish we could do that like at all the campuses, you know, go visit, find out, talk to the teachers, and we talk to everybody at every level. I talk to the administrators alone, and I talk to teachers alone, and I get genuine feedback, and I think that that's important because they have to reflect. And I always tell the administrators, get out, I don't need you here, I want to speak to them so they can tell me candidly, you know what, this is the support we need. So, you know, while we may not look very good on paper right now, I see, you know, good things happening, and I think that we will look a lot better next
And
year.
I'd like to say, I just went to their career day, And as a board member, it's one of the few moments when I get to just enter into a school as just kind of a regular individual. And I learn a lot from the classes that I actually interact with. And there's a lot of people who want to be Elsa there and some princesses, which is always very nice and I think positive. But I have to say, I too felt that there was a change in the environment there. The kids were even more excited. So I really appreciate everything that they're doing and the enthusiasm that's kind of spread. I'm glad that they didn't just give up and that they're willing to dig in and do the improvements we need.
So I see good things happening, and then one day I was there, and they were doing the student of the, they were gonna announce the student of the week for the following week, and the kids were like, they get so excited, and it was like something so small, you know, they get given like a little medal, a little dog collar that they wear, but little things like that, you know, they've gone a long way. Like, I guess they're paying attention to the details, and it's helping. I see a big improvement from the beginning of the year to now, so.
I do want to share that the exit remarks were, they could not believe that in such a short time, that campus or that principal had turned that campus culture into a very positive one. And that the two people that were there to do the observations, one of the gentlemen was a math teacher in his days, and he got to see the quality of the teaching from math teachers and was very impressed with the delivery of instruction. And so they had nothing but very positive remarks, and that they had never seen such a turnaround in such a short time. And they were very impressed with everyone, with the culture, with the instruction, with the PLCs, with everything. And I've told them, I sat in one PLC and I saw the collaboration, teachers actually discussing and identifying their areas and, you know, providing, and Ms. Morris did an excellent job in just facilitating, but it all came from them. And so it was just an awesome, that was a true PLC that I've ever seen. And so I do commend the staff and Ms. Morris as well. You know, that's her responsibility, and she's done an excellent job in, you know, making sure that, you know, the staff has what they need, and that the principal also, the support is there. And that's what I told her. I wish we could have this with other campuses as well, because we are working with the middle schools, and she did something similar with middle school teachers. And it's interesting to see the little minor things that can change their world, you know, to make it a more pleasant environment for them. And that's what our aim is. Our goal is to try to, you know, get these type of, you know, little minute changes to help our teachers feel more powerful in their classroom. So I think it's an excellent idea for us to even take that idea and implement it in all our other campuses. Yes.
I think the biggest thing that was lacking there, yes, the leadership was lacking, but more than that, like when you got down to what was like to the teacher level, I think they just needed to feel supported. And I like I tell everybody, I say it like even with my own children. I have 4 kids. I said, everyone wants to be acknowledged, no matter what small detail you play in the family or in the classroom or in the school, they want to be acknowledged. Like I get there, I always greet the front office staff. Oh, Miss, you're leaving for lunch? No, I haven't eaten all day. Ah, well, Miss, I have a sandwich here. But it's gotten to that, you know, level that, you know, I don't even sign in when I go. I'm just like, oh, I'm here to see you, Mr. Gonzalez. I'll be, you know. So it's you know, it's just changing the whole culture and making those teachers feel supported. Because when I first got there, I was like, what did I get myself into? Because they were very resistant. Like, oh, here we go again, things. You know, I'm like, no, it's going to be different. I promise. I this, I that. And I didn't have too many like people jump on the bandwagon. So I was like, okay, well, I'm moving the hayride. Nobody's on it, but it'll get there. It'll get there. So I think the greatest task for me was to get them to trust me, and that to believe that if I said I was going to do it, I was going to do it. And I would hold them, and I say them because they would say, well, this program didn't provide this already, let me send a quick email. And they were like, you can't be calling people out. Oh, I'm going to call people out because they're asking me for support. So then Ms. Basan would follow up, or it was a bilingual thing. Mr. Martinez would follow up. So, you know, I think that has made a difference. But that, like Ms. Casa was saying, that needs to happen at all the schools. Because what's happening in Gloria doesn't only happen in Gloria. I think it happens across the campus. And when people are not, like, one of the things that we did, we sent us to improve veterans. I told Lisa, I need your help. I need your help. I can't call myself. I need you to adopt this school, you're gonna be there, started 2 days a week, 3 days a week, she's there 4 days a week. And then I see her only on Fridays. But I see changes. Even with the principal, even in talking to the principal, now he's speaking the language. So I think that, little things like that, and I'm right now working with Ringo Middle School and hoping that, we can support them as well. But yeah, that's all it is, just acknowledging people and holding people accountable to what they say they're gonna do.
Thank you. And thank you all, because I know it's arduous. I know you do it. But yeah,
We're gonna do it.
we will.
The other item on other is Region 1 on data suites. And I believe this is a renewal.
Yes.
Mr. Evans?
On-Data Suites is the software we purchased this fall, and we were looking at it because it had two very important aspects to it. One was the PIMS editor, and usually with TEA, they have certain windows when we can upload data and start looking at our PIMS errors. With On-Data Suites, we can create our files internally that we will submit up there, put them through this software right away and start getting the same result. Right, so that's what we did, and it was really, really helpful for us to get ahead of the pinch reporting windows. So they worked out really well for this fall. It also had a component to the CCMR, where it allowed us to go in and input our data and look at the CCMR and who would be qualifying, who would be short, who had all these things. So that also helped. It's come to the time where we want to renew, and I'm recommending renewal because it was a good addition to our software. The amount for that project is going to be $5,620, and it is budgeted. I recommend renewal. It's working. I have two others.
Oh,
Yes.
oh, I didn't get those.
Okay. One was EMS, Power School EMS. Power School EMS is the component to Power School that is the actual support. And let me give you a little story about EMS. EMS became part of Power School later, and what they did was they implemented a better support system, a better backup system. As you all know, we had fire in the electrical room of the multipurpose center, and our servers were there. EMS was that component that would submit the backup file to St. Louis, Missouri. So what we did was we contacted St. Louis within a day. They had the backup restored, and they had us linked to St. Louis, Missouri for the on-site updating of data. So it looked like we were going here to Rio Grande City, but we were going all the way to St. Louis. So EMS was that part of Power School component that covered that. It is up for renewal as well, in the amount of $14,385. It is also budgeted, recommend renewal.
How long have we got this?
EMS has been with us for 4 years. But in that particular instance, we actually tested it and it worked.
Yeah.
Really, really quick. And what happened with that is we were required to pay a small fee at the end of every month for the actual access. They actually went into the Amazon server farm and connected us to there. So they had a big setup there. I was very pleased with the way things worked out. And by the way, it was for the summer submission when we get all our TA funding for attendance. So it only skipped 1 day beat and we got back on track. So it paid off for itself.
Did you say you have another one?
Yes, I have one more. This one is called Unified Enrollment Registration. It is actually an online registration software. We purchased it last March, I believe. And at that time, we had an agreement with Power School to run the installation of the project and get it going. And we would pay in 2 payments, half last year and half this year. So the second half is up to this year. The actual application itself is ready for launch. We should be able to launch it by the end of this February. And what it is actual connection to Power School on the parent portal where there is a registration link that did not exist there before. And so they'll hit that registration link, and then parents will be able to renew their registration data online through the different sources they have, phone, iPad, computer, desktop, whatever it is. So what they'll be doing is looking at basically a registration page, and that we're also including the uploaded documentation that is required, such as birth certificates, to an SSL server that is secure. So we'll be okay with that. It'll also let us accept the immunization records through online, which the health services, Mr. Barrera already reviewed and analyzed and liked the way the process worked. It's been tested. We're also getting the income forms online if we can. The parents are willing to put it through there for the federal programs acquisition for the economic disadvantaged, helping with the census block. Another thing that happened earlier was they added a different at-risk criteria for parents or students who had parents or relatives that had been incarcerated that was going to cause that. Well, we could not ask directly. And then about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks, they gave us the go-ahead to be able to ask. So what we decided to do was we put that also online and asked a parent to check all that applied. One of those applied choices is that one about the incarceration. So we don't directly ask you, but we let you place it there if you want to offer it. So we're handling that through that online. So we'll take the first person-to-person trainings on the 12th and 13th next week, and we'll have the campus trainings on February 18th, and then we're hoping to launch pre-K and K registration through that as well. So it offers an option to do it online rather than sitting in a waiting room waiting for your turn. So hopefully all that will happen. The process will begin with the enrollment. The data will send an email to key people in the district, student services, for example, federal programs, bilingual, special education, health services, and data processing. We will review the data that's been placed in there. If it is incomplete, we'll send a return email because they provide one to let them know you need to update certain things. Once we categorize the data and validate it as accurate and useful, then we allow the PowerSchool enrollment program to actually process it into PowerSchool, eliminating the need for a clerk at the campus to actually put in everything manually. We would just cross it right into the system. Anything that is missing that needs to be manually entered is a very, very small portion that can be handled at the actual campus itself. So we're going to launch that at the end of this month, and then we're recommending approval of the second amendment to complete the project.
Is this something that's in Spanish as well?
We did pay, if you notice, I don't know if you have a copy of it, but we paid for Spanish language, so all the forms are in English and in Spanish. I can give this to you. It also includes what we call school locator, so that as you're typing in your address, it'll go directly into a link that will tell you, okay, because of your address, this is the elementary you should register at, or middle school or high school. Okay?
So people that have to register is, I know, pre-K and kids that are new to the district?
It has a function for new to the district students.
Okay.
And then everybody that's already enrolled, they can do the registration.
They do the
online,
update.
The update.
They can register for the current year, and if they have to update either phone numbers or contacts, emergency contacts, it offers them the opportunity to do so.
So if they're registered, they don't have to go through?
No, everybody will. Everybody will.
So everybody's going to?
And the beauty of that, Ms. Lopez, is that by law, like the pre-K, pre-K3, pre-K4, and the new kinder student that's coming, by law, we cannot register them until April the 2nd. But if we have an online registration system, you can do pre-registration, and that's allowed by law. And so that's what other districts do, and so they start asking for pre-K, incoming pre-Kers since January, and that's how you get ahead of schools like IDEA.
Like ideas and
Exactly.
doing it right.
That was going to be my last comment. This will be the next competitive edge.
Because that's how they do their
To get ahead.
registration.
Yes. Uh-huh.
They send you a link, and you click on the link, and then you update.
Because I was asking, so how do we get it, how do we let the community know, right, that this option is available?
Once we do our training next week, part of the component of that training is the marketing and the advisements that we send out, which will probably be through newspaper, through the campuses itself, plus I will be working with Ms. McKee for the parental component program, so that we can make that
And for our current students, for updating, they're the same, or do we have like a general?
That be done through the schools as well.
We also plan to discuss with the principals and with the key people in the district to set certain areas. For example, at my office, I have a 12-piece computer lab, so we'll make that a registration location. We want to talk to the public library, that's part of the marketing, the public library, and let them know that this is something that's there, and they may designate 1 or 2 machines to be an enrollment site. The same thing with the computer labs at the campuses or at technology. So we have all these plans already laid out so that the community know that if you don't have your own way of doing it, you can come into one of the public school locations or public locations and access our system to do the actual online enrollment.
And if there be someone there to kind of help out, you know, like.
At the campuses, there will be, and at the school locations, there will be. That's why we're talking with a librarian at the public library to see if that'll be feasible. If not, hopefully we can create some kind of little video that can probably be put on YouTube that will give a little bit of an instruction so that we can have, parents can have access to this. So those are all part of the next stage in the development of the advertisement.
Because like me with technology, I get so nervous. And if there was a place to go and I knew someone was there to kind of help me out if I had any questions.
We kind of oriented it so that when you log on there, it automatically takes you to a lead page. And then instead of making it difficult, you answer the questions and then there's a next button. So you hit next and it processes you through it without really having to choose what you really need to. The other thing is that at the culmination of the entry process, it just asks you to review, and the system itself will mark in red what it wants you to review and what it thinks is not valid, so you can review that once. Once you do that, then it will allow it to process it. The system will send an email to the district personnel that somebody has enrolled and is ready to have their record reviewed. And then we'll review their record. If there's an issue, we'll contact them in return that everything is okay, we're gonna go ahead and deliver it, or they need to review this portion. They can either, go online and review that, or contact us and we can have them come meet us at a lab so we can.
One of the things that IDEA did, and I know because it happened to me, is that if you couldn't do it from your phone, or you couldn't do it from the computer, you could do it over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
So you would give the number and then they would call you in the evening to do the registration over the phone. I thought it was
That's
very
one of
helpful.
our options.
And then, is there any, just like a kind of a PR thing, for everyone enrolled, do they get a welcome to the district phone call, this is you enrolled, or have to have you welcome to the family kind of thing, do you have any questions? Is there any way we can have that as an option?
Honestly, that is not built in, but it's not something that we cannot talk to the company so that the link after it's completed to send a standard email doing that. It's very easy to do that. It is very easy to do that with the software.
Or free t-shirts to the first 100, you can pre-register or something like that. Like, especially for the little ones that we're trying to attract, like for the little ones. We could give them a free spirit shirt that says Baby Rattler or, I don't know. Like as a campaign, and they wear it, and then that's also,
We can use it as a promotion.
Right, that's
I
what I'm saying,
enrolled
like,
our school online enrollment.
right. But that way we can already start getting our numbers. Are we gonna do
I'll
pre-K
start
three
working
next
on
year?
that right away.
We could start getting our numbers that way. Because if you tell them there's something free or there's a giveaway involved, they'll do it.
Especially if they get your done to them early.
Yes.
They don't stress about.
Right.
We had presented this already, but at that time it was fresh. Now that we've gone in and done all the structure builds and everything, I like it a little bit.
And I think that it seems like it's gonna eliminate a lot of work and confusion for you, and it seems like it's gonna help streamline the process for everything, and even for our training students, right?
The next phase that I intend to do for this is to try to generate a mass email to the emails that are placed there, just to have them validate data. Every year we have to validate data, and now our addresses are becoming reportable to the state under the census block, so that the funding for school districts is not going to be based on a census block criteria that will begin actually this March, right, in the spring, in March. So that's going to be part of the funding formula. So the better we have the addresses accurate in the system, the better that'll help us, because each address is given a weight. So, section 1 will have maybe like dollar of weight. Section 2, $2. So the more you have, the better the opportunity to fund with that. So
This would be the first year.
this will be the first year this week.
Anything else?
That's all. Thank you very much.
It's 12:40, and we are done with the curriculum committee. I know there's several other meetings.